Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. Extreme Challenge Quest Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus the Volcano Colossus wants us to use a water magic team. And I think at the water team, Water 1.0, this is where they actually kind of started to make sense and be halfway decent. This is just 2 months shy of the original half anniversary, which is this stage right here. And the water team actually wasn't the most terrible thing in the world. Like, it runs a lot better than these 4 teams down here, Jesus. I did already build it. It looks like this. So we've got Water Chloe and Alice, and then we have Raphael, our first version of Raphael in the game, and then Velzard, also our first Velzard at that point. And then we have Ranga, free-to-play unit, and then we're going to bring Veldora, free-to-play Veldora. He's got the green buff. This is a green-focused team. Chloe changes orange orbs to green, raises our skill cap by 40, and gives us, I think, a 40% ult damage buff for 3 turns. Like, yeah, she's actually doing quite a bit for a protector. We hadn't seen protectors do 3 different things really ever up until this. Well, I won't say ever, but 3 good things ever. So this should be fairly easy to do. Ranga definitely is not the best free-to-play character. My Raphael and Velzard are skill-fused, so if you do not have them skill-fused, they're not going to hit nearly as hard or do nearly as much, but I still think it's going to be fairly doable with them. The missions, 9 turns or less, 220 skill points in 1 turn, and then 3 attack skills, which, if we count, we have 3 active right here between Velzard, Alice, and Ranga, so that's doable. Okay, let's just jump in then. Okay, well, that's funny. Chloe changes oranges. We don't have a Chloe yet. Raphael does change 1 orange orb, which I guess is cool, but yeah, we'll do this. We'll take Ranga out of here. We'll do the single orb change. Hopefully we won't have to use it anymore, because with the green buff almost always active, we're going to be able to stack Chloe pretty nicely. That doesn't get us the gauge, but I do have Water Xian underneath Velzard. That should be enough protection gauge to get us to turn 2, and that works out fairly well right there. Yeah, excellent. Okay. So now, we'll just use Alice, orb change for the blue, and then Chloe comes in. She's going to change the oranges, going to raise our skill cap, and we do have enough points now to use the green buff from Veldora, and that's going to be pretty necessary to have on at all times. So we got to get it active early. Alright, so Velzard is the DPS. So Alice is giving Pierce rate and water resistance down. Velzard has attack and Pierce power. And then Raphael lowers defense and does something else. Okay, game. I remember saying this a couple videos ago, where whatever team you're running, you don't get those orbs. Yeah, this is another example of that. Okay. So attack... Oh, Pierce resistance down. Okay, and then Raphael is defense down and water allies Pierce power up. Okay, gotcha. We need to use 220 points in a single turn? Sure, okay, well, let's go ahead and just send this and get these blues out of here, because we need oranges for Chloe to change. 37k, okay, that's actually a lot of damage. I didn't expect that out of her. Sure. You're not on Exalted Champions, are you? No, you're on Fount of Wisdom. Okay. Well, need to use the green buff again, I believe, because that's not active anymore. Yep. So green buff again. Not a Veldora orb, so we'll bring Alice. We'll change the blue. Boom. And then we will change all those oranges with Chloe. Yes, that looks a lot better. So we need to use 220 points. Alice and Raphael are 110. So we need to use another 110 points out of that. Velzard's 15. The Frostbite is 15, so that's 30. I guess we just need some orb changes and the Ranga buffs as well, and I guess that'll work. Alright, that's a good hand. I just don't have an alt swapper, which is kind of unfortunate. I think we'll just take both of them out. We'll take Raphael out first for Ranga. Yep, and then, oh, there's the blue orb. Okay, well that actually works, because we're going to swap Alice out, and then it will turn into a Veldora orb. And then we can simply use Chloe to change the oranges, and then we'll use Veldora's orb change to change his own personal orb. Boom. That's how that's going to work. And this should get a Velzard ult. Oh, so close. Okay. Okay. There's no way to rush that, is there? That's just that's literally the only thing it does is Frostbite. Okay. Well, I mean, we do have quite a few buffs here for a low-tier team. I just want the Velzard ult, but I guess it's not super necessary. We do have 220 skill points, though. So let me math this out really quick and figure out what I need to use. I figured out that we need to go another turn. That's what I figured out. So let's just do this. This will help us get Velzard's ult, though, because we can just send this, and that'll give us max points now. So yeah, you won't do a lot because you're type disadvantage, and we'll get him down very, very low. All right, thank you very much for that. Hopefully he doesn't like stun me or anything. Guard rate, defense up. All right, that doesn't really matter. He just really hates Velzard. He knew that she was gonna hurt. Okay, Ranga skills, guard power, pierce resistance down, green gauge increase. Yeah, sure. Let's use both of those. None of those really matter to the frontline units. And then we will bring in Alice and Raphael. And we will nuke with Velzard. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we need to use another couple points. So that should be 230 points used right there, if math served me correctly. And yes, okay. So let's just kill with Velzard. See how much damage we actually do here. 128.5. Okay, yeah, that certainly works. We used 3 attack skills. We used 220 points in a single turn. We killed within 9 turns, so that's good. Okay, let's use a different team with a water-based character now. Alright, next up, we're still running a water DPS who is magic, but we're going to use Protector Veldora. So stacking green, just like Chloe is stacking green technically. Magic buff for Hinata. Hinata has her own attack buff and crit damage, so we're going to activate that crit by bringing Fire Golem. You could just bring Water Shion too, that totally works. Or the Masked Hero. You know, someone to give Hinata crit is the main point. And then we have 3 orb changers. Free to play Aaron just because she links up with Earth Mirror or Earth Milim, but she does have type disadvantage, so she can't stay on the field too much. And then Milim and Isis, who also has that green buff. So hopefully we don't need that much to kill here, but we do have a number of points to use, and my Hinata being skill fused does get a higher stack of permanent ult damage. I wouldn't worry about that too much though. We're getting 70% from Milim. We have attack and crit and magic. We're gonna be fine, even if Hinata is not skill fused. Alright, yep, sure. I like starting with 4 blues. We can definitely work with that. We'll bring Violet, or well, Milim, who has Violet underneath her, and then Hinata has Water Shion, so we're gonna get a decent amount of extra protection gauge on turn 2, and then hopefully we can orb change into a full hand of greens here. I mean, technically, yes, we can. Technically, yes, we can. That is why we have an assortment of orb changers. So we'll take Fire Milim out for Aaron. We'll use her convert. And then we will reset both Milim and Aaron. And then we'll just swap Aaron to the back that way. She spends as little time up front as possible. And we'll bring in Isis. Next turn, hopefully we can use the green buff to really start jump-starting our gauges and our ults. Because, yeah, we need to use more skills to max out the magic buff from Veldora. That is exactly what I wanted to see right there. Perfect. Okay. So, orb change, green buff, alt buff, permanent alt buff, plus the crit seal, which technically Fire Golem also has, so we're doubling up. I don't think we need to do that, because it's not like this thing has crit resistance to begin with, I don't think. I could be mistaken. No, he just has defense. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell right now anyways. Oh, we have no Hinata orbs. That's unfortunate, I guess. Alright, well, let's just take her out then. So we can bring her in for whoever has the most orbs next turn. Melon's doing 6,300 a hit. That's pretty good. And we're already down to half health. This is a lot easier. Yes. Okay, sure. That works. So, Milim orb change, boom. We will take her out for Aaron. We'll use her orb change and then the Isis orb change. And then I think we bring in Hinata for Isis, because she has the most orbs. And boom. Another stack of this. I guess we can use the Aaron crit support, crit resistance, and HP, just because it's another skill that helps us get closer to maxing out Veldora, who only needs one more skill, which is good, because we should be able to get the Hinata ult here and nuke on turn 5, and we're definitely going to use more than one skill. It's just that if you want to do the mission, you need to use 220 skill points to do that. I don't think he's going to live to the point where we can use 220 skill points, to be perfectly honest with you. That did a lot of damage to Aaron just right off the bat. Well, I mean, we're already at 235 if we can cap out. If we can cap out. That's the thing. So... yeah, about that. I guess we can do this. And we'll use the... we'll reset here. Boom. And then we'll use the Milim convert. And then we'll bring Isis in, and that'll give them two blues right there. We'll just use this. The green buff is active for one more turn. Yeah, one more turn. Does this get us up to... It does not. That doesn't really give us a lot of points at all. That's kind of shocking, actually. We should have brought Geld, maybe. Yeah, okay. Well, that's not nearly as effective as I thought it was going to be. I didn't want to nuke. I didn't want to send the ults, because I'm pretty sure they would have just straight up killed him. Okay, well, waste of a turn, essentially. If you had to, you could take some weapons off and have them just not hit as hard, and then you'd be fine. But let's just kill him. Call it a day. So, buff. We need to bring Fire Golem in for Isis. Alright. Buff. 1, 2, 3, 4 skills. We only needed one to max out Veldora, which we technically got last turn because we orb changed. So we're now going to get 70% magic attack. And Hinata's going to do way too much damage. How much damage does she do, though? 263. I think that would have one-shot him from full HP. Yeah, that worked. Maybe we didn't get the 220-point mission, but you can do that on your own time. So, alright. That works for me. Let's go full free-to-play now. Alright, for the free-to-play team, we don't have a lot of stacking green options, so we do have the new Frey, though, which is great. We're going to pair her with the new Geld, because they do give us extra damage against fire enemies, which this is a fire enemy. So we're going to make him our DPS character with the free-to-play Rieger from the Prosper meta, because they're both on Protectors of Peace. Therefore, both of them will get the extra damage against fire enemies. They're not type advantage, though, so they're not going to do like, super great damage. But then we've just filled the team up with more green orb changers. Isis, Aaron, free-to-play Trya, whatever works. Geld is going to be giving us the ability to have a lot of extra skill points, while Isis is giving us the extra protection gauge and alt buff. And technically, Rieger is an alt swapper. We don't have any free-to-play green alt swappers, I don't think, so that's kind of unfortunate. Just shows that green teams are not super focused on a lot this month, or this year. But let's try it out. Okay, now that I'm unmuted, because when I tried to record this the first time, I didn't realize my mic was muted. here we are. We have a good turn 1 opening hand. We had 2 oranges, so we just had to use the Aaron orb change, which works out very, very well. I send Geld last, not knowing that he is, well, not remembering that he is physical and they want a magic team against this. So Rieger actually does more damage than Geld, so we'll start sending him last instead of Geld. But this team runs very, very smoothly, mainly because of Frey. And even though Frey's skills aren't totally leveled up, so we're only getting, 16 points every time we use her on the skill cap, she still resets skills, which means that this team is really cheap to run, and it's very efficient. So even though we're not running any true damage buffers, it doesn't really matter, because Frey's raising our attack by 5% every single time that we use her, so eventually we will have a decent attack stat for a full free-to-play team, and because the orb changing is so consistent, I don't really need to worry about much. Like, Isis changes the blues, Geld can change any orb between him and Rieger, so like right here, perfect. We could use both of their skills. We'll use Frey to reset them first. By using the Geld green buff, we get more skill points, which isn't really a big deal because our skill cap just goes up so very slowly. But it does actually add to the weakness resistance down on the Colossus. So Geld and Rieger just eventually hit harder and harder because they're getting an attack buff and they're stacking that weakness strike down. So it does help the damage. It doesn't show for it by a lot because it's not a lot of percentage, but it does help out over time, which this is definitely an overtime team. So here, again, we can make it work, but I don't think I actually do make it work. Do I? No, actually we do. So orb change, green buff, orb change, green buff. I thought I brought Trya in one of these turns. I think I bring her in later. No orbs for Rieger right there is kind of unfortunate. We kind of want them, but we will make do. He's already down to half health. We're on turn 4. Like, that's pretty good. I would say that's very good for the free-to-play team. Okay, here I think is where we take Isis out. So I think we use her orb change and then take her out and bring in Trya. No, okay, no, we don't even orb change her. We just use Frey now once Trya's up here. And then we can convert with Trya, one of the ways, and then convert with Geld, one of the two, because we wouldn't change the Trya orbs with Geld's skill, it would only change the Rieger, which is fine, because either way we were going to make it work. We also could have used the other orb change from Trya, like, it literally did not matter which one we used there, and in what order, it would have gotten it regardless. And then we'll send Trya to the back so we can leave her for potential orb changing in the future, like this. So we let Aaron take that hit, but we do have a good hand, because now we can just bring Trya back for Aaron, change those 3 Aaron orbs, and then once we reset her, we can then use the other Trya skill, or we can use Geld's, like, it doesn't matter. Stack the weakness resistance down, looks good, and then we'll send her away, and we'll bring Isis in, we'll get an ult, well, we'll send her ult, and we'll be pretty close to taking the Golem out. We're not going to ever hit the 220% or 220 skill point usage on this team. Maybe if Frey was actually built up all the way and we're getting 20 points every time we use her instead of 16, it might be doable. But right now at level 8 skill for her, not really a thing. But we only need one more hit, so we're going to let Rieger do it since he was the DPS character, quote unquote. And now we're doing almost 7k. We started doing like 48k. So we have gained more damage as time went on. But there we go. There's the free-to-play team to beat the Volcano Colossus. Let me know what other teams you have available that you've used to clear this stage so other people can check them out in the comments below. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.